Hello, friends and foes. Welcome to my channel, Janet Catherine Ann, Living at 360. Today, I want to tell you about one of my miracle stories. I have several stories that I consider miracles in my life that came out of nowhere, except only could be from above, because when I say above, come on, don't like judge me. Oh, she's one of those. No. I'm talking about it didn't come from this earth. It had to have come from a higher source. Whatever your higher source is. Mine happens to be God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. That's who I believe in. But you could learn a lot from some of these stories if you'll just stay tuned in. Anyway, so basically, I want to share a story about my work. It was such a wonderful story. It was such a wonderful happening in my life that I'm hoping it'll bless some of you and encourage you that even in the midst of the darkest hours, there is something good working if you only believe. It says, if you only have faith the size of a mustard seed. And I understand that now, because believe me, when I talk about this story, my faith was the size of a mustard seed. Literally, I believed, but I didn't believe. I believed, but I didn't believe. So here goes the story. I had lost my husband in 2004. Meanwhile, a young lady came to me and said, there's a job right around the corner from you that is hiring and will give you a pretty big pay increase. And I know you have your degree, right? Yes. So they're looking to hire somebody from within the company, but the job's been sitting there for 6 months and they have not been able to find a suitable candidate. So you should apply for the job. Well, I just lost my husband. I didn't want too many more changes in my life. So I kind of sat on it for a day. But her being the go-getter that she was, bless her heart, she told the HR lady that I was interested. And she popped her head in my cubicle and said, so I hear you're interested in the job in the sales department. When can I receive your application? And so I said, okay, So I did. I applied for the job. Well, lo and behold, the vice president, the one that was going to hire me, was somebody that I had been acquainted with in a previous job. And so he already knew me, so I got the job right away. Well, it came with an $11,500 pay increase. That's not $1,100, that's $11,000. So I don't mind telling you, in 2004, I just came out of college and I was making minimum wage. I was making $21,500, I think. And so it bumped me up to $32,500. So I was making $2,100, bumped me up to $32,500. So I started the job and I loved the job. And what it was I was the administrative assistant to the vice president in the sales department, and it was an insurance company. So I kept track of all sales and all the salesmen's monthly stipends, and I kept track of a lot, their sales license. And so after working in that job for a year, suddenly the vice president was fired. And this young man in the office, who I actually had helped get hired, took it upon himself to take the vice president's office over. And there was another lady in the office that I loved, I adored, but immediately turned on me. And I was written up. I was written up and given a 30-day notice by this young man, saying that I didn't know my job, that I was not capable of doing the daily functions. And I was like, where is he coming from? Well, when he called me in to sign it, I said I wouldn't sign it because after I read it, it didn't sound like me at all. So HR got involved, and she said, well, he can't make you sign it, but what he can do is keep a diary of what you're not doing right. And at the end of the 30 days, if that diary proves out to be true, then you could lose your job. So for 30 days, I sat there one day after another, concerned about losing my job that I had gotten a year before and had brought me a nice pay raise. So I prayed about it, and I felt very strongly that I should stay and remain consistent and show up every day with a good attitude, and even pray for the young man and the woman that was trying to get me fired. And meanwhile, she would come around to me and say things like, you, when you first got this job, I saw who you really were, and I will get you out of that position. I didn't know where she was coming from at all. I actually literally said to her, I think you've misunderstood me. I'm shocked. I don't know what to tell you, but I am not who you think I am. I've been doing this job for a year, and literally she wouldn't leave me alone. So as much as I hated going to work, every day when I went to work, I prayed for him, and I prayed for her, and I prayed for their families. And how I would pray was simply say, Father, I lift them up to you. I ask that their families are blessed and that they receive the blessings in life, and that their heart is softened and they're kind and they're happy, and everything I would want someone to pray for me, I prayed for them. Now, let me tell you, did I want to? No, I didn't want to. But I did it. I went through the motions. That's what I mean, the seed, the size of a mustard seed, the seed of faith. It was very tiny. So when I went to work, I noticed a lot of people not talking to me. Word had gotten around that I was in the hot seat and that I might be losing my job, and I wasn't highly favored anymore. And so the salespeople were still nice to me, but a lot of my other friends would go around my desk. And I felt unwanted, unloved, and all the above. But about the 21st day, and my boyfriend at the time was saying, you better find another job. It's easier to find another job while you have a job than it is after you've been fired. And I agreed with him, but I said to him, no, I don't feel like I should. I think I should stand my ground and go to work every day. And they weren't giving me any work. She was doing all my work. He was giving it to her. So all I knew to do was the regular work that I did daily. And I heard this announcement that they had a new vice president. New president was hired and a new vice president. But the president was saying, if any of you have any concerns, I want you to make an appointment and come to me. So I made an appointment. And then as I thought about what I was going to talk to him about, I got urged inside, don't say anything negative. Don't go in there and bash these people. But tell him why you are valuable to this company. All the positive reasons that they should keep you. So when I went into my appointment, I laid out bullet points in front of him, and I had the same set in front of me. And I said, I feel like I'm slipping through the cracks, and I want to tell you why I'm valuable to this company. And I went through every reason. And he looked at me and said, I wasn't aware that you were slipping through the crack or anything about what's happened, but thank you for coming in. He showed no emotion, no that he liked me, no that he was highly favored by my presence. So when I left, I was like, I'm not sure that was a... Well, the salespeople came to me and said, did you go in and have a meeting with the president? And I said, yeah. And they go, So this is how it all came down. At the end, I figured it out. They heard that I had a meeting, and they had complaints against the new guy. So they set up a meeting with the president, and they told on the new guy. Apparently he was doing some sneaky stuff already. Now what really happened was this lady and him got together, and decided they were going to take over that department. She wanted me out of the way so she could run the department, and he would be able to go play golf and be the big guy. They already had it all planned out. So about the 28th day came. I had 2 more days left. So I sat there for a good 5 days, not hearing anything. And then all of a sudden, and the weekend, and all of a sudden the HR lady came and said, hey, don't worry about the write-up. The president wants to offer you a new position, and it comes with a pay raise, $6,500. She said, but just keep it on the down low for now. We'll take care of what's his name. Well, the next day he calls me in the office. He says, it's come to my attention that you could be valuable in another department here. So I'm going to retract my write-up, and I'm going to let you decide for yourself whether you want another job. And I said, really? I said, what does that other job entail? Now, she had told me the details. It was right up my alley. I had told him I graduated with a degree in mass comm, radio, television, but he had a position in mind that he wanted to hire someone for the community. And he was thinking it over. And when he heard me, he saw the perfect candidate. So she described all that. I'd be going out in the community and representing the company, throwing parties, little parties for our clients. And I was so excited. But I didn't say anything to him. I said, what does the job entail? And he said, well, I'll tell you more later. Well, he couldn't, because the next day they walked down with a box. And when you see HR coming with a box, you know what's happening, into his office. And I was shocked, stunned, didn't know what to do, didn't know how to react, but I knew I wasn't going to gloat. He came out with all his stuff in the box, and I looked up and looked away and kind of felt bad myself. The next day, I come in from lunch with the only other woman that would talk to me, and we see the lady, and she wasn't young, she was older than me, walking out with all her stuff. And the girl with me said, oh, where are you going? And she said, I'm just going to lunch. Well, she was fired also. So they sent out an email throughout the whole company saying, please help us in welcoming Janet Patterson to a new position created by the president, community outreach representative. And all the people that had shunned me and walked around my desk sent me emails congratulating me. Oh, we knew you weren't going to get fired. We knew you'd come out of it good. We knew this would happen. We knew that. I have those emails to this day. I put them in a little book just to remind myself. And of course, I didn't start the position for like a month, but once I did, it was right up my alley. So now, after my husband died, within a year and a month, I was making, instead of $21,000, I was making $37,500. Oh no, $38,000. Yep. So in a year and a half, I almost doubled my salary. Now, do you think that had anything to do with my obedience? It had everything to do with my obedience. I could have quit the job and missed out. I could have cussed them every day and possibly missed out. I could have thrown a fit. I could have been a hater. I had a whole bunch of choices in front of me. Instead, I was not only blessed, but I was a great example for many people. And that's what I call a miracle. And so if you're in a situation where you're on a tightrope and you think it's do or die, do. Because you're not going to die. You're going to flourish. But listen to the inside. We have a voice that tells us what to do daily if we'll listen and tune in and get guidance and receive guidance and welcome it. If you listen to that, you'll do mighty fine in this life. I hope this helps somebody.